Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive, and I'm bringing you week 2 of the GBA, the St. Louis Rampardos versus the Pittsburgh Steelix. This is going to be a super epic battle. As I did last week, this is my pregame talk, this is my pregame go about where I talk about my team, what I think Swagalift Joe is going to bring this week, and then you guys will see the match following, and we'll see how everything plays out. So, I am facing Joe. His team is the Pittsburgh Steelix. He lost last week to a Volcarona sweep. Volcarona ended up, I guess, getting up a few quiver dances and then 5-0ing his team, or killing 5 of his mons. So, I know he has a pretty big weakness to fire, but he is a very, very good battler from my understanding, and I think I'm definitely the underdog in this match. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button for the underdogs, and hopefully I stand a chance. My bracket, my division hasn't been doing so good so far to start the GBA, so a loss this week wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I do want to kind of show people that I am halfway decent, and it would be really awesome to pick a win. So I'm bringing a really interesting team right now, and I'm leading off with Mega Charizard Y, which is my mega pick. And you see I'm running Solar Beam, Fire Blast, Tailwind, and Earthquake with Hasty Nature. So this is kind of a spin-off of the Dragon Dance set I ran last week, but instead of Dragon Dance, I'm actually running Tailwind, and I'm not running more offensive. I'm just using Earthquake as something to hit Heatran and Jirachi in case they switch in, but obviously I have Fire Blast as well. Otherwise, I get pretty much walled by Heatran, so Earthquake is there for that. Hasty Nature, so I outspeed or speed tie with all base 100s. And I think we'll be alright. Charizard definitely hits his team pretty hard, but at the same time, I like the fact that I have this Earthquake on here just in case I need it. My next Pokemon is Eon, which is my Latios. I couldn't go a match without bringing Latios. It was my #1 pick, and it's probably one of the best mons on my team. And you see another Tailwind. So I'm running Defog to help out my Mega Charizard just in case. Draco Meteor and Earthquake. I actually am running Attack Invested on this Latios because my hope is he's going to be running a specially defensive Heatran to take on my specially offensive threats, and I'll be able to Earthquake him and Oko him. So actually, max HP non-defensive Heatran actually dies to an Earthquake from this EV'd Latios. So it's kind of weird. He might not expect the Earthquake. It is one of the recommended sets to have Earthquake on Latios, but at the same time, I really think it's going to catch him off guard. Plus, I'm running Tailwind, so you see I have 2 Tailwind users, which is kind of the focus of this team. It's a little bit weird, but I'm hoping if things calculate out like I think they will, or I'm planning them to, Tailwind could be proved to be very, very useful. I'm running Hasty Nature to max speed, and the speed investment I have actually allows me to outspeed base 100s that are neutral, I believe. No, max speed base 100. So I can outspeed Jirachi at max speed by 1 point and hit it with an Earthquake. So that's always good to know. The next Pokemon is probably the most crucial Pokemon on my team, in my opinion, and it is my homie 7 Dots, bringing him back. I'm running Rocky Helmet on this time, because I felt like Leftovers was going to be kind of useless, because he's probably going to knock it off with his Thunderous, or Tornadus, I mean. But I got Iron Head and Aerial Ace. Actually, Aerial Ace should be Rock Slide, but that's okay. I might make that a change right before the match, we'll see. And Thunder Wave and Stealth Rock. So this is kind of my main switch in to basically most of his offensive threats. It's fully physically defensive because I don't think his Tornadus is going to be especially offensive, and it's to take hits from Jirachi, it's to take hits from Mega Beedrill. Like, this thing is the key. It's really my biggest switch in case things go awry, and I'm definitely going to need Registeel. So I'll have to make a game time decision. I have about a half hour to decide whether I want Aerial Ace or Rock Slide. So you guys will see in the match. Aerial Ace would be for Heracross, obviously Rock Slide for Tornadus, so I'll keep you guys posted, but Thunder Wave is going to be key. Next Pokemon is actually my Venusaur. So I decided to run Modest Life Orb Venusaur, and the speed investment allows me to outspeed, I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, in the sun, it outspeeds fully invested Mega Beedrill, so I can hit it with an HP Fire. So Solar Beam, Hidden Power, Fire, Sludge Bomb, and Sleep Powder. Kind of a standard-ish set with Life Orb. This thing actually rips his team apart, including his Florges. Can't take Sludge Bombs. I outspeed everything after the Sun Boost, and I can also use Tailwind to boost it up in case Charizard goes down or whatever. I still have some Tailwind, and this thing could be a huge offensive threat, especially with Sleep Powder. So look for this thing to do some damage. If things go my way, Venusaur could be clutch. The next Pokemon I have is Scarf Chomp. It's actually not Scarfed. I think that's the first thing you would think of, is the fact that it actually isn't Scarfed. So I'm hoping to kind of throw him off guard, and maybe he'll think it's actually Scarfed, or a little bit of mind games there. We'll see what happens. But I'm running Earthquake, Outrage, Poison Jab, which is kind of weird, but with the Expert Belt, it actually hits Florges really, really hard, especially if it's especially defensive Florges. And Swords Dance. If I get a Swords Dance up, my Tailwind's up, I have 2 turns of wrecking everything. I pretty much Oko his entire team. 2 turns worth. So Tailwind only lasts for 4 turns. The turn you use it, Swords Dance, assuming the first Pokemon dies, etc. So you guys get the idea. Scarf Chomp, I decided not to run Scarfed. That could be a huge mistake, not running Scarf as a Revenge Killer, but I'm going to take my chances. That DD, if he DDs up with Haxorus, I might lose, but those are the chances you take. So I'm rolling Expert Belt. We'll see if I change my mind last minute, but that's what I'm sticking with. And we got the homie Big Dan, Chestnut. So I'm bringing in Assault Vest, fully offensive Chestnut, max HP, max attack, with Drain Punch, Poison Jab, Aerial Ace for the Heracross, and Wood Hammer. The reason why I'm bringing this guy, and I'm not bringing Cloyster, I'm not bringing Blissey, I'm not bringing any of those guys, is because I needed something to take out his bulky waters. I don't know if he's bringing Blastoise, I don't know if he's bringing Slowking, but I need something that could take him out. Umbreon is also a problem, so I needed something that has some serious offensive presence. If I get a Tailwind up, this thing is going to be a beast too, because it's going to hit super hard. It can take a Moonblast from Florges and hit it super hard with a Poison Jab. There's a lot of good opportunities for this guy, and typically he's probably going to think it's an defensive set, but it's really going to be offensive. So I'm hoping that Chestnut can go big for me, and we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Wish me the best of luck. I'll be back here in just a few minutes with the battle. I'm going against Joe, man. I need some serious luck. This guy's a really good battler, and there was a little bit of trash talking that went down. Me being the new guy, people don't like me or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter though. I'm coming in hard. Hopefully I win. If I don't, it'll be fun either way. So good luck to you, Joe, and hopefully I beat you. And here we are, the match. Week 2 of the GBA, the St. Louis Rampardos versus the Pittsburgh Steelix. You see the teams here. I knew that Heatran was coming. I had a feeling that Tornadus was coming, but I did not expect the double water bulky core. Haxorus is a huge threat to my team, and so is Mega Beedrill. I did prepare, but I just don't have the defensive presence to hang in there for that many hits. Either way, I'm hoping he leads with Heatran, trying to get him Stealth Rocks to try to get some momentum against my Charizard Y. So I'm actually going to lead with my Latios here, because I do have just enough attack investment to actually knock out Heatran with an Earthquake. But he does lead with his Tornadus, so I was kind of expecting that as a potential possibility, and I'm bringing in my Registeel here, which does have Rocky Helmet. So Rocky Helmet's going to take the knockoff. He's going to take some damage from it, and I realize that this is a Life Orb, fully offensive chicken, Tornadus, whatever you want to call it. So I'm pretty sure I could take a superpower even though it's Life Orb, and I do actually take that superpower, and he gets the -1 attack, so I'm thinking maybe I could take another superpower, but it doesn't really matter, because I'm actually going to go for the Thunder Wave here. I realize that this is the fastest thing on his team unless he has some Choice Scarfers, and if I could paralyze this thing, it's going to make it essentially useless for the rest of his team, especially since he doesn't have any Heal Bellers, and he has no way to heal up this Tornadus at this point in the match. So, getting the Paralysis off on this was huge. He's going to go for another superpower. I get my Stealth Rocks up, which is going to really help out my team later on in the match, and I actually lose my first Pokemon that early in the match. I said in the pre-talk that Registeel was going to be a key to this match, and losing it is a huge deal because it basically takes away my check for most of his offensive threats, and it puts me in a really bad situation. So I'm going to go on a Mega Charizard Y. The rule in the GBA is you're supposed to Mega on the first turn you bring it in, unless you double switch it out. I'm going to Mega right up because that's what I have to do, and I know a Fire Blast will kill from here, but for some reason I thought he was going to switch or try to go for a slow U-turn. But he doesn't do that. I go for the Tailwind trying to get some momentum. I kind of spoil my strategy early in the game here because I thought I had a good opportunity to just wreck some of his team. He does go for the Smackdown, which I was expecting. I knew he had Smackdown. Everyone I had talked to told me that this thing was going to be running Smackdown. I knew it was coming. I calced it. -2 Smackdown Life Orb isn't actually going to kill Charizard Y, which you saw there. I took a ton of damage from it, but I'm able to live it, get on my Tailwind, which is essentially useless. He's going to bring in his Slowking here to take the Fire Blast, and it's going to take it really well. I realize at this point it is a specially defensive Slowking, but it is not Assault Vest, and that's very important for me, realizing that it's not Assault Vest. You see here it's got the leftovers. I thought he'd be coming with Assault Vest, but he didn't. So I know this thing's going to be carrying Power Gem because I'm sure he realized that Mega Charizard is a huge threat to his team. I shouldn't have let it take all that damage from Tornadus, but what are you going to do? In comes a Power Gem, as I was predicting. It's really not going to do anything to Venusaur. A non-stab Power Gem isn't going to do a whole lot. But really, Joe has all the momentum here, and I do have my Venusaur, which is in the sun, so I'm in an okay position. I'm going to be able to get a Sleep Powder off, and Joe smartly takes a Sleep Powder with his Slowking, realizing that this thing is probably his best Sleep Fodder. He could have brought in Tornadus, but it probably would have died to, you know, a combination of a couple Sludge Bombs and stuff, and you might want to save that later, because it does still have some utility with Knockoff. My Tailwind's going to go away, it doesn't really matter. I still have the sun up, so I am boosted in the sun, and it's not a huge deal. In comes his Beedrill. and my Venusaur is specifically designed to outspeed max speed Beedrill in the sun. I go for the Solar Beam here, and I am carrying HP Fire. I go for the Solar Beam here, going for the big hit on the Slowking. I probably should have just predicted the switch. There really wasn't much of a chance he was going to stay in there, and Solar Beam wasn't going to hit anything on his team, but I also didn't want to risk giving a Flash Fire boost to Heatran. So the sun fades, which means my Chlorophyll boost is gone, and this Beedrill is going to wreck my life. I bring in my Mega Charizard Y, kind of just to get up Sun and kind of sacrifice it essentially because I knew I was going to die. Maybe he would protect here and I'd be able to still live. He actually goes for the U-turn and does not Mega Evolve. So I was a little bit confused here. Turns out Joe did not bring a Mega Bracelet. He wasn't far enough into the game and he wasn't able to Mega Evolve his Beedrill. Huge turn of events for my team. Actually gives me a little bit of a chance here because he's got a lot of offensive pressure, and now that he's just carrying regular Beedrill instead of Mega Beedrill, I might actually stand a chance, but probably not. I'm going to go for the Fire Blast here against the Beedrill. I know it's going to hit everything on his team pretty hard. He's not going to want to bring in the Heatran. I hit the Pajama pretty hard, the Haxorus, but it's going to go for Dragon Dance here, and I realize, well, that's pretty much the game. This thing is going to really destroy my team, but I'm thinking maybe my Venusaur can outspeed if he's not running fully speed invested Haxorus. If he's just going for the Dragon Dance, I might have a chance here. I'm going to bring in Latios, and unfortunately, Latios just ends up being Death Fodder and just gets absolutely destroyed by a Dragon Claw. But I see that he has a Life Orb, so that means he's only got one hit left in him. But at this point, to be honest, guys, I mean, this match is pretty much over. I mean, it was a really good match, but it's just not good. I realize that I don't outspeed, and he's just gonna air lace my Venusaur, and it's a 6-3 match. But stick around, guys, because seriously, it's a good ending. His Exodus actually goes down to the Life Orb damage, and that puts us at a 5-3 situation. He's got some really big threats. In comes the Heatran. I'm thinking, okay, maybe my Garchomp has a chance here. Remember, guys, I'm running not Scarf Chomp, I'm running Expert Belt. So let me explain this to you. I see that he has the Air Balloon. I have Poison Jab, Swords Dance, Outrage, and Earthquake, so I can't do anything. I go for the Poison Jab, bluffing the Scarf. I knew he would Stealth Rocks. Now I switch into Mega Charizard Y to die and not get up the sub. I'm sorry, get up the sun. I didn't want to get up the sun here. And you'll see this is a very crucial play. I bring this in to sacrifice it so I can take a hit. And the sun does not go up. So me Poison Jabbing a Steel type makes him think that I'm still Scarfed with my Garchomp. I don't get the sun up by sacrificing Charizard. And I bring in Big Dan here, my Assault Vested Chestnut, to come in and try to take a Lava Plume. In comes this monstrous Lava Plume, and I live because the sun was not up. Get out of my house for Poison Jab and a Steel type, because that is how you make a crazy last-ditch effort to have a chance in this game. My Chestnut is going to go super big here, living the Lava Plume and knocking out the Heatran with a Drain Punch. In comes his Beedrill. Remember, this thing cannot Mega Evolve. He doesn't have his Mega Bracelet, so there's still hope for me. I'm going to go out in my Garchomp, realizing my Big Dan can take out two of his bulky waters and has a chance to take out his Tornadus as well. He went into Beedrill, realizing that any of his switch-ins would probably die to my Chestnut. He probably didn't know what kind of set I was running either. He gets a crit. I'm going to get some rough skin damage, and my Garchomp's in here. He thinks I'm Scarf because of the Poison Jab. I'm going to go for a Swords Dance on the Protect, get to +2 here, and this game is not over because he thinks I'm Scarf Chomp. I'm going to go for the Earthquake and knock out his Beedrill, and that puts me at a 2-3 situation with a +2 Garchomp. I outspeed everything on his team. He brings in his Blastoise. This is a huge play in the match. Stealth Rock's damage get factored in. He told me later this was max defense. Bold Blastoise. Outrage probably doesn't kill otherwise, but I get a crit, so get out of my face, man. Get some beginner's luck. I needed it. Crit takes the Blastoise down. In comes the chicken. Takes some serious Stealth Rocks damage, bringing it all the way down almost to half. Another Outrage is going to come in here and knock out his Tornadus. And Garchomp, don't get confused. Don't get confused. And I don't get confused. In comes the Slowking, which is sleeping so soundly, and my Outrage is just gonna come in and ruin his life. I got super lucky, guys, because he didn't bring the Mega Bracelet, but I made the play of the century, Poison Jabbing, bluffing the Scarf. Week 2, St. Louis Rampardos beat the Pittsburgh Steelix. Put it in the books, baby. This has been your boy aDrive. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I will see you guys next week in the GBA. This has been your boy aDrive. Peace.